Hey, welcome to the channel. I am Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're going to look at your energy for today. So let's get into it. I hope that you're doing well. I hope things are going well for you during this time of Mercury retrograde. These messages are always timeless, as a side note. As long as they resonate, use your discernment. Take what fits, leave the rest behind. But when I am recording, we are in Mercury retrograde. And tension is starting to mount right now between Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Saturn teaches us our lessons. Jupiter is our fortune, our abundance, and Mars is the fuel that pushes all of that forward. But we are finding resistance, right? We're finding resistance. Yesterday was a little just heavy emotionally. There's a lot that's being stirred up because of Mercury in retrograde. Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto are all in retrograde right now. It's forcing us to change those deeper things in our life, right? Like the stuff that might not pop up in the day-to-day, but affects the day-to-day, affects how we're able to show up for ourselves, for others, what we believe, we think we deserve, we can have, what we're worthy of. And it's forcing us to slow down a little bit, on the surface layer so we can be more introspective, so we can look at the places where those bad influences are popping up, or we're deceiving ourselves or allowing someone else to deceive us. We got to take a beat. We're in Leo season, however, so everything inside of us just wants to keep moving, keep moving, keep having fun, not pay attention to all the BS. But if we don't, then it can become a slippery slope. We have a lot of the earth element right now, so that really helps us ground. But there's also a lot of fire element as well, which again can be just a little stubborn, I'm hearing, and not wanting to listen, not wanting to even just listen to yourself. I'm not saying you have to take someone else's advice that you don't really want to, but even listening to ourselves, listening to making decisions for the long term instead of that immediate gratification, which it's not an easy task. We do have to slow down. We do have to take a beat. We also have to have a lot of awareness around how and when those things pop up. So that's why we'll start with this energy cleansing, cleanse out any blocks, obstacles that might be coming into our path. Set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. It's also a good time to set your own intention as well. If you would like spirit to deliver certain messages or answer certain questions, now is the time to ask. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is blocking the highest and best from coming through. Fear, doubt, insecurity, lack of worth, lack of value, patience, impatience, anger, frustration, annoyance, heavy emotions. Cleanse and release it from our being. Help us to see what we need to see, hear what we need to hear, and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so tensions are building. And if you tuned into the weekly this week, you'll be able to see that, also feel that, it's happening to us right now. So it's really important to, again, that component of awareness is what I'm hearing, making sure that you're not turning a blind eye to things that are going on. It's not like you have to, overanalyze, over-criticize, halt everything you have going on in order to kind of figure something out. But we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention because it is really important to be able to find our safe space, is what I'm hearing. I love this Grove energy because it reminds us that when we work in harmony with the people, with ourselves, with our environment, we are protected and there is more peace and balance regardless of what's going on around us. We can't always control the outside things, right? But we control how we show up, how we engage, how much we let it affect ourselves. So there's a lot of safety popping up first and foremost. And I'm hearing safety within yourself, but also just how you take care of yourself, your emotional, mental, physical well-being. Because it is kind of affecting how quickly things are moving right now. I'm hearing that you get a little burst forward and then something happens to kind of slow you down. It's not, again, I don't think that's the worst thing ever. I don't, because it's giving you the ability to find your grounding, to find your beauty, what you are trying to manifest, or success in that manifestation, right? The peacock, so that you can stand tall, so that you can be in a situation, in an environment where you find happiness, where you find fulfillment. We have to make sure to let go of some of that vanity, ego, pride that we also see with this peacock energy, because that can get the best of us, right? That totally is that Leo energy of I don't need to look too hard at that, or it's fine, I'll deal with it later. They're not that bad. It's actually quite interesting, and I do have a lot of experience with this. It's quite interesting how when you let something go that doesn't seem that bad, how much it really does affect you long term. I'm hearing that idea of a boat or a ship. If it's a little bit off course, a degree or half a degree or whatever, you'll end up in a completely different destination. That's what this reminds me of, to make sure that you are paying attention to your environment, who you're engaging with, how, why. I mean, the other side of that peacock energy, right, is that vanity, right? And no offense to Leos, if you are a Leo, I do have Leo in my chart. I like Leo energy, just as my disclaimer. But it is very proud, right? Leo is the lion. It's the sun. It's self. It's how we view ourselves, how we put worth and value into who we are. And therefore it can be a little cocky. It can be a little bit arrogant if we're not careful. And you don't even necessarily have to be a cocky person. I love this. This guy is, though. Knight of Wands, bottom of the deck. We've been seeing the Wands family court cards pop out a lot. We've also just been seeing this element of ego, vanity, pride, manipulation coming through in our readings. I do feel like this is more outside of ourselves, but I also do feel like there is a lie, a false belief that you're buying into that is kind of protecting. And maybe it is a little bit out of your own vanity and pride, or something that you feel like you need to do, which maybe, but I'm hearing it's really important to reevaluate. It's really important to reevaluate again, because you don't want to get looped back into the same cycle, into the same hubbub. And something has been trying to bring you back. You've been working really hard to push forward. You've been working really hard to be in the right direction, on the right path. But again, what I see overarching today, it's very important to honor yourself, spend a little time in your own world, however that looks for you. Sometimes that's very hard to do. Sometimes we can only dedicate 15, 20 minutes to that. But if you have more space, really invest in yourself today. It is an energy of going within, of being silent. You don't have to communicate. You don't have to tell everyone everything. Right now, Mercury is in Virgo. And so it's this value of weighing the pros and cons. Is it worth it? You know, and Virgo is all about health and well-being, which I love. So again, this emphasis, the call to have some amount of autonomy today, be independent today, really listen to your heart, your voice, find out what you want, what you need, bringing awareness. You know, and as you slow down 100%, it's not only allowing you to walk away from the things that aren't fitting, that feel toxic, that feel heavy, but it's actually allowing you to connect with your own divinity, meaning those places of your heart that are very beautiful and unique, that have that element of innocence and purity, however old you are, whatever you've done in your life, right? Like being more curious about this. And I feel like this is something that you've actually kind of blocked from yourself, blocked from knowing about yourself. The places that you are willing to ascribe to higher morals, principles, values, your intuition. Intuition has been a strong focus because of that Neptune in Pisces in retrograde. All the things, right? All the things. A lot of the conflict, a lot of the drama, the chaos has been overshadowing this. And I feel like that's why Spirit's really calling you to find a little bit more peace, to find a little bit more reprieve today. It does, like I said, feel like it's going to be more about you and your energy and what you want and need. You've kind of been stuck in a dynamic with people, situations, a group of individuals that have really played with your emotions. I hear intentionally and unintentionally. People who didn't want you to see this divine part of your being, the beauty that you embody. And so their pride, their ego got in the way and thus started the manipulation. You've had a really hard time protecting yourself. Emotions have been weighing heavy, and it's made it really hard for you to see things clearly. We've been getting this Nine of Wands. Yeah, Nine of Wands and Knight of Wands look very similar, but we have been getting this Nine of Wands a lot too, like just constantly being on the defensive. And I hear some of this was about you didn't even need to, but it was the way someone else was treating you. So anytime you'd move into a new situation, into a new dynamic, you were a little bit on the defensive. And now you have time, you have a moment to look at this part of you, the moon, your emotions. I was listening to this thing the other day and I really liked it. And he was talking about how emotions are heavier than thoughts. And I was thinking about that value of doing affirmations or trying to like quote unquote fake it till you make it. That's why it's so hard to do, because if we have a belief within ourselves that we can't have that we're not worthy, that we don't deserve, whatever it may be, that is going to outweigh the thought. The thought might work for a minute. Yes, it's about creating patterns, habits within those thoughts. So continue. If you do like affirmations, I'm not saying they don't work, but I really just enjoyed the way that he talked about how and why it can be very difficult to get out of those emotional spaces. And that's exactly what it's felt like for you. It's like this wetland, you know, when the water's all mucky and you can barely lift your feet because it's like suctioned into the ground. That's what these people have wanted. They've wanted to slow your roll. They've wanted to make you feel less than, or that you didn't have the ability, or kind of leave you high and dry so you couldn't succeed, so you couldn't find your way. And it's been interesting because we've been getting this call for a new partnership, new relationship, but then there's this air of hesitancy. And I think justifiably so with what you've gone through. At the same time, Spirit's wanting you to check those emotions. Check how they are manifesting, how they are infiltrating the things that you have going on around you. And how you can be a little on the defensive, or even just worst case scenario vibes, right? Like it's not going to work out how you want it. So that is an energy in the collective. I've heard other readers talk about this too, of making sure that we're not dismissing what we're seeing, sensing, feeling, picking up. Intuition is very heightened right now. It's very strong. So utilize that. It just sucks. Like literally, it just sucks because we're seeing things come to head. We're understanding people, their motivations, hearing the things that they said behind their back, that they did behind our back. And it's just, it is like a stomach punch. It's a gut punch. Is that what they call it? And again, there are reasons, justifiable reasons why you do feel this way. But at the same time, you can get out of it, right? I mean, I know, easier said than done. It is a lot about keep plugging away with the process. Just like I was saying about affirmations, right? Like keep pushing, keep moving forward, it's like finding the straight and narrow. Because when there's a lot of energies at play, when we're feeling pressure of a lot of people, situations, things from the past that have traumatized us, that have hurt us on a very, very deep level, it takes time to come out of that. And you're still facing conflict. You're still navigating a lot of stuff that's not only being thrown at you intentionally, but just byproducts of daily life. And this is why staying grounded, staying focused is so, so important right now. Honestly, what I'm hearing with this Nine of Wands for you today, protect that groundedness. Protect yourself fiercely and passionately. Make that be your front and center today, right? I am not going to let this person or this situation or whatever throw me off balance. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that you might not have feelings from it, right? Like you might not have feelings from it, but sometimes it's better to just say yes and move along or no and move along, right? You don't have to be a yes man. I'm saying yes because there is self-protection. We're getting this throughout the board. We're seeing that there is a need to self-protect from a specific person or situation. So be mindful of that. Actually, before I pull on that, let me just see. Since this is, what do we have to be aware of with this tower? Okay. Someone is trying to, change their tune. We've also been seeing this pop up in the collective. Something really wants to project a different image to you. I feel like this is part of the manipulation. This is part of the vanity and the pride. whether they don't want to be seen in a certain way, or, you know, it's kind of like a last resort is what I'm hearing. Even though they know authentically what the truth is, they won't admit it because of that vanity and pride. So someone who is non-apologetic, they might say that to your face, but in reality, I don't get that vibe. They're trying to overcompensate. They're trying to claim that they're getting better, that they're healing, that, you know, I'm sorry, it just took me a long time. I mean, I don't even hear an apology in this, but they are trying to get something out of you with this net energy. Again, this feels very looped into the past, and I'm only going to lightly touch on it because we've been seeing this come up a lot in the collective readings, where we really have to be mindful and aware of who and what we're letting into our environment, especially if they're coming back in, especially if it's been pretty messy, pretty raw. Yeah, this crater is about sometimes those things that we damage a little too much, right? Too much damage has been done. And I do feel like this is a lot of what Pluto in retrograde, then entering Aquarius, is all about. It's really looking at the places that there has been a lot of damage done in relationships and choosing to say, you know what, I'm going to look at the bigger picture of my life, where I can find my happiness and success. I might have to take a step back, listen to my heart, my mind a little bit more intentionally, so that I can pull myself out of these emotions that keep me stuck to people and situations that are selfish and put themselves first. And it looks like you're doing that. But again, we've been seeing someone want to quote unquote catch your energy, right? Like make you theirs, or have some amount of control, or keep you put down is what I'm hearing. So be really mindful of conversations like this. We are in Mercury retrograde right now, so these types of things will be coming up. Past stuff that hasn't been dealt with, things that we need to look at, things that have been swept under the rug, etc. Hopefully this gives you some help, some insight. Definitely make yourself a priority today. It's very important. It's very essential. It's going to allow you to stay a little more grounded and balanced and not get so sucked into these emotions that keep popping up for you. So I hope this helped. Thank you. Always definitely drop comments below. I love to hear if it resonates, or if you just want to connect, share in a little love, support, TLC. That's totally my vibe. Thank you for all your love and support to the channel. It blesses my heart always. Love and blessings your way.